2024 coming up to a wrap, and we have seen movies this year, and I do think it was a step up from last year. So I believe we've watched about 25 last year, and this year about maybe 28. I want to say 30. Definitely missed out on a lot of stuff due to all the horror stuff, and just not having the time. But hey, it's still an improvement from last year. So without further ado, let's give you that 2024 movie tier list. And I know I haven't been consistent on my movie review Fresh Lettuce Twitter page, but also follow my Twitter. It'll be right here. I write reviews on there when I can. If not, always look out for like my Instagram story. All links will be provided at this, that, and the third. Let's just jump in the video. Unfortunately, this is the first movie I saw within the year. It was like in February when I saw it, and it was Madam Web. I don't really want to go into detail, but if you do want that detail, then here it is. The movie visually looked alright. Like, they got the effects right with the whole spider webs and them all using that, this, and that, third. But the story, the blatant hinting to like, we have Spider-Man. He's getting born. But like the prequel to it being Ben Parker and her getting her powers, and don't even get me started on the dubbing of Ezekiel, was just done terribly. It's like Sony, y'all say like y'all want to make movies about superheroes, don't want to include Spider-Man, and y'all don't get why people hate on him. This is a perfect example. I was ready for some Spider-Girl, Spider-Woman stuff. You have 3 of them. Like come on, man, come on. To move up to our D tier, movies that, I didn't expect to be good, but, weren't even that great. So we got Trapped, If, Ghostbusters, Afraid, the AI movie, Beetlejuice 2, and Crisis on Infinite Earth, the trilogy. With Trapped, it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie. They're either hit or miss. And this one was a miss. It was ironically funny more than, like, what it was portrayed to be. Like, I'm glad that M. Night, shot stuff in Philly. All the coordinates were weird. It was weird, but it was just another like serial killer movie. You could see everything coming. The kills were cool. The way he escaped and like got away, and potentially gonna be a sequel. I didn't need that in my life, but hey, the movie If was solid. Anything about imaginary friends or like cartoons, anything like that is a cool genre. And the way they all looked was great. The story told was alright. I did see Ryan Reynolds being the clown at the end, so that was like kind of sucks. But the movie was good. Like I said, D tiers is that tier where it's like they're good but they're not great. Like Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters, I didn't expect to be good at all, but it definitely did a good blend of mixing the OG with some new stuff. Now, I ain't banging with the daughter in that movie. She was making dumb choices that I feel like common sense could step in the way of, but it wasn't like that. I don't remember if they were hinting at another sequel, but everything was done fine. Visually looked good. Like I said, mixing old with the new. Cool. Now, Afraid was just trash. I don't know why I didn't put it in buns. Probably because I did sit there and watch the whole thing. No AI movie is gonna get better than like iRobot or Terminator. And not to compare them, but like this movie was just doing too much. I don't know. I felt like it was kind of like boomerish, where it's like AI's bad. We can't use AI. AI's gonna be here forever and take over. That's like, if you had to put that anxiety about AI into a movie, this would definitely be it. Beetlejuice 2 was alright. I don't know if Beetlejuice 1 needed a sequel. That's why this movie was like iffy. They kind of like toned down a lot of characters, and the characters they introduced really didn't do much for the grand scheme. I like the way they portrayed the dad. Beetlejuice, you can't get wrong. We got some backstory in there, which was a nice little touch. But the movie was really nothing, honestly. It could have been its own story, could have been its own show. I don't think it needed another movie, honestly. And last for our D tier is the Crisis on Infinite Earth trilogy. This movie is hard to adapt. It's not like Injustice or like Doom or anything like that. One solid storyline that can just be portrayed in a movie, and that's it. It needed 3. And with the 3, it didn't do bad. I enjoyed it. I've waited for them, so that was they were anticipated. That's good. That's good for a movie. For me, it was just like You know, they did it again. Now it's definitely better than the CW adaptation. I'm not gonna sit here and say that. I did watch all the movies leading up to this film, so I could put it a little higher. But I don't know, something about it is just like, I don't know if I was expecting it to be like What If or something. But it's definitely a good watch. I recommend it. Yeah, it's probably the best D tier out of this whole genre. I ain't gonna hold you. With that, we move into our C tier. Our C tier were good movies. These were good movies. Some of them I didn't expect to be so good. Kind of like D tier, but a step up. And at first, we're starting with Wicked. Wicked was a solid movie. Now, I didn't see the Broadway play, so I don't know if that contributes to my viewership, my opinion. But Wicked was solid. I always say, like, not to compare, but to compare. No Wizard of Oz adaptation is going to be better than The Wiz, and that's just me. Not even because I grew up on it. I've seen the other ones. I've seen the James Franco one. I've seen the original. Come on. Wicked is cool. The thing I didn't like about it, it just seemed like a bunch of Ariana Grande glaze. Like, I'm glad that she had every pivotal part to be within that story as Glenda. But, like, damn. You know, how much is too much, you know? I will be there for second one. I like how they put that in the beginning, that there will be a part 2, so that you didn't have to sit there and wait for the credits. Yeah, songs were great. All the costumes and like sets were great. I didn't really have much to complain besides that. Transformers 1. Now, I'm not the biggest Transformers fan. I've watched some cartoons. I've had toys growing up with Transformers. I've seen the movies with Shia LaBeouf. I didn't watch the Mark Wahlberg ones. Call me biased. But this one was fun. Seeing a prequel of how Megatron's story and Optimus Prime's story, both combined, came into what we know now is tough. And I think for new fans of the franchise, if there are any new fans, not counting Beast because of G.I. Joe, I don't want to even talk about it. But I feel like this is a good introduction for the youth and just for people who haven't been in the loop for a long time. Just want to know about the story. It's good. It's a good movie. The Garfield movie. Now, I'm a persistent hater of Chris Pratt. I feel like he doesn't... Obviously, he got to where he was, but I don't feel like he's like a good actor to me. He's one of those Timothée Chalamets that could be put in any role just because he's Chris Pratt. I don't know. But once again, just like with the Mario movie, he gets put into these good movies that you forget it's Chris Pratt, and they ended up being really good. And I said it. I'm going to say it again later in this video. That kids movie is on the rise, and Garfield is a great example of that. Venom 3. Sony. Right back to Sony. After Venom 2, they had to step it up, and they definitely did with this film. I don't remember if like anything afterwards said there was going to be another one. I don't think there was. I'm glad that this is the last one. They introduced a lot of new symbiotes. A lot of funny stuff like they could persistently do with Venom. It's good. The movie was good. I don't really want to say more about that, honestly. You know, it's Sony, so take this with a grain of salt. Red One. You know, a lot of people shit on The Rock. Chris Evans was in this film. Red One, I expected to be absolute trash. I expected to see that Jungle Cruise, Jumanji Rock in this film. And surprisingly, yes, he's in the film, but he wasn't like the main focus, you know? I like that J.K. Simmons was Santa Claus. I like the way they portrayed Santa Claus. Like, him being this buff, like, agile, fast, like... It was cool. They kind of went the Sandman route of like extracting the magic from him to cause this evil onto the world. So I like that. Red One was definitely an underrated movie. I forgot I completely seen Imaginary. Imaginary was nice. Like What If? I feel like this one took it up a step further, using imaginary friends as horror aspects and they connecting throughout decades, kind of like Candyman and stuff like that. Was definitely a good thing about this film. Like I said, I forgot I watched it, so if that contributes to the opinion, you know, saying it's easily forgettable, I guess. But it was definitely a good film. The kids in this movie were acting their asses off. The set pieces, the props, all of it was very nice. Yeah, definitely watch it if you haven't. And last but not least for C tier is Twister. Twister I've seen a couple times. You might say that it's the best C-tier movie out of this whole one because I've seen it maybe about 3 times. The first time in 4D, and maybe 2 times on my own. After watching the original too, I feel like this is the best adaptation we're gonna get. It's modern, it has great actors. It's a love story too at the end of the day, and I'm a sucker for love stories. That's our C tier. B tier movies, very good movies that I would watch again. I'm not gonna hold you. Speak No Evil, man. That man James McAvoy can act. The story was completely nice. To see that it's been going on for a while was a great touch. This man, I'm a James McAvoy like glazer. This man can act. He got fit for the role just like in Split. The fact that justice was received at the end is always a nice touch. And if they ever continue this with like Ant's story, that'll be a great cutaway from that. So yeah, Speak No Evil was definitely a good watch. I'm glad that they released it on Peacock because I wasn't able to see it in theaters. So I'm glad that was a thing. Speak No Evil is a good movie and might be the top of my B tier list. I'm not gonna hold you. To address the most hated movie, if not overhated of all time, is Joker 2. Joker 2 was in my B tier list because the movie was good. Now, it wasn't the first one, but it was good. I just think that a lot of people hate on the musicals or decided that, if he's not going to be with Batman, I don't want a Joker. And I get that, but it was never set up to be that way. Yes, they showed little Bruce Wayne in the first one, but what y'all thought? It's been 10 years and he's going to grow up and start donning the suit or training? That was never going to be it. I love the musicals in this film. Lady Gaga doing her thing as Harley Quinn, but not really Harley Quinn, so I could see the upset in that too. Was still cool to me. The songs, Joaquin Phoenix and her just singing these songs, and the sets with the musicals being portrayed as mental pictures, whatever, mental motions, whatever, you get what I'm trying to say. Him mentally thinking all this when he's in a bad situation. It's an escape. That's what it is. It's an escape. I like that. Him being the predecessor, the influence to a new Joker was definitely a step up too. I don't see why people didn't like it. If you don't like it, please tell me why, because I felt like it was a good movie, unless you're really wanting that stuff. And to address the musical part again, for a generation that watched this to really grow up on High School Musicals and a bunch of cartoons where they saying musical stuff and you don't like it, it's just crazy to me. To move on from that, Smile 2 was a good movie. Really good movie. I don't think they can fail me with this franchise. A nice original franchise like this is definitely going to go places. I did like the first one more, but that's probably because it gave more backstory on what this spirit, demon, monster thing is. But this one took it up a notch with going on to a celebrity or an influencer, or whatever you want to call it, someone who has that notoriety, and being able to infect a bunch of people, if not thousands of people at one time, is definitely a good plot point. That's great. Like I said, I don't see any of these movies doing me wrong. So yeah, shoot. Looking at it like that, this might be my top B tier. I don't know. Let's move on. A Quiet Place Day One. Quiet Place is another original franchise that I don't think could do me no wrong. Now, the only problem I had with this movie is that I'm expecting to know more about these monsters. I don't want to have to research on what these are. I just need more backstory. I feel like if you put that in the movies, I feel like they could be solid, even though they're solid on their own. Still seeing them work, still seeing them touch down on day one. Mind you, the movie name is tough, because to find out John Krasinski's story is 400, 500 days afterwards is that's solid. That's solid. And the way they made this story was great. You can't go wrong with the stories in this film. I just wanted more backstory personally. Yeah, top tier trilogy. I do wish that they show on what's going on more in the world. I like that they touch point on this in that movie. It is going on in other places of the world. So hopefully down the line we could see more of that. Kung Fu Panda 4. I thought after the trilogy, that was it. I didn't expect them to do a fourth one. People hold that trilogy up to the highest tier of DreamWorks. But Kung Fu Panda 4 was cool. I don't feel like it was needed, honestly. I felt like kind of that milking feeling, when they're milking something. I kind of feel like that. But the story, him trying to find an apprentice because he won't be the Dragon Warrior no more. It's time to choose a new one, and like him going through like not that identity crisis, but kind of something like that, because this is what put him on. This is what makes Poe cool. He's a Dragon Warrior, But all the old villains coming back. The villain that introduced what she was trying to do in this film, it was cool. I really like that apprenticeship thing. That's like the whole thing that was holding me on. Definitely go watch it. Like I said, these kids movies are going up. On that note, Despicable Me, I believe 4. I don't think I have anything bad to say. I definitely laughed at this movie a lot. That's good too. When a kids movie can make you laugh as an adult. Like I said, these kids movies up and up. Gru had a kid, and he was trying to bond with that kid, which is a nice little story. Even in being witness protection, they never got my man's out that vending machine. Seeing them have superpowers was definitely a cool touch, kind of like the Fantastic Four in a way. I don't think Despicable Me can do no wrong. And seeing how like all the villain stories, like how they evolved in the end too, still in jail, but like growing up, all the movies tying in together is basically what should I say is a nice little touch as well. Let's move on to our A tier. A tier, the bangers of this year, but not quite S tier, not the best of the best, but can hang with them. With one, we're starting with Alien Romulus. Can the Alien franchise do me any wrong? Oh man, Covenant, Prometheus, all great. Romulus, definitely a great adaptation. Still messing up the timeline, because you have to do that timeline of where this one fits and like, how it goes to the main story with Sigourney, all that. But great movie, showing more passion, like more attention for the synthezoids in this movie. I would always love that. Like showing love to the robots are always great. They can't do no wrong with the xenomorphs. You can't. They always look visually good. The way they fight, the way they kill, the way the humans fight, the way the humans kill are always a great touch with these movies. I'm excited to see another one. Seeing the homunculus that they made in this film, oh man, it's a great film. It's a great film. It might be the top. I don't know. It might be. There's too many bangers. Like I said, there's too many bangers in A tier. Next is Civil War. Civil War was a great movie. I do believe it's an original. I don't think there's anything like it in my opinion. Seeing America fight it out for the head of the president is a great way to go about this movie. Seeing how Americans will really get down when it comes to war, which we're known for, is really a nice touch to that. And just from a photography standpoint, a press standpoint, taking it from that perspective is just great. Like all the shots where her camera's black and white and Mary Jane's character, Kristen Dunst, whatever, is like it's great. It's great. The deaths in this movie were great, and the ending is a little controversial. I feel like she could have like speared her out the way and pushed her on the floor, but she just. I'm not gonna get into that though. Good movie all around. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Planet of the Apes. Once again, another solid trilogy. The fourth one didn't harm the trilogy though. Taken after like 400 years, still seeing the apes rule the world, but humans are coming back, is a nice little touch. The fact that we're going to space is another great touch. This movie had people in a chokehold with the Proximus Caesar. Had people in a chokehold online. I feel like you can't talk about this movie, and it's been on Hulu for God knows how when. Like it's been on there for a while, so I'm pretty sure everyone have seen it. And if you haven't, watch it. It's on Hulu. Challengers. Seeing a tennis movie that isn't about Serena Williams or her sister is a breath of fresh air. But this one was nice. It being a love story the whole time, really compared to a tennis movie. I love me them love stories. Was great. I didn't expect the film to be that good, honestly. Like the ending where they were both finally getting their game in and hashing all their problems out with that one last game. Great movie, man. That's all I can say about it. Great movie. Shoot, this might be the top of my A tier. It's too much competition. Godzilla Kong. We went down into Hollow Earth. We found out how Kong was living, and to find out that there's bad people no matter where you go, and we gotta fend off, is a great toe touch. Like I love movies that make you forget like these kaijus aren't human. Like to give them human aspects or animalistic aspects that really just fit and make you forget about that they're kaijus, that they're 30 feet tall or whatever, is a great touch. All the characters in the movie did their thing. Seeing Hollow Earth more expanded was a great touch. I don't think they could do me wrong with this. I don't remember if there's another one. I don't see what else they could do. But shoot, you give me some more King Kong, Godzilla stuff, I'm there for it. To choose the A-tier movie, I'd probably say either Kingdom of the Apes or Challengers will probably be my top of the A-list. And last but not least are S-tier movies. The movies that I thought were untouchable, that I thought were the best that came out this year. And to start off, it's Zoe Kravitz's debut, directorial debut, Blink Twice. Blink Twice was a great movie. I put it at the top. I think it's the best movie that came out this year. Just off the story alone. I know the ending was a lot of people didn't like the ending, or some people found it conflicting. The ending was conflicting, as I should say. But I liked it. I feel like it was well deserved, and it made sense for her overall character. Just seeing from where she came from, where she ended up, was great. Like the stuff that they did on this island. It's kind of graphic, so I don't think I should be able to talk about it on here. But if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Channing Tatum coming back to give some roles, to give some great acting after debuting as Gambit finally within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He does his thing, man. You can't knock Channing Tatum. Come on now. Great movie. Like I said, I can't get in too much into it because I don't, it's pretty graphic. But they did their thing, man. Main character was great. The way she went about it, everything, I felt like was great. Speaking of Gambit, Deadpool and Wolverine on S tier. Did you ever doubt that? The most anticipated movie probably of 2024. Like seeing my man Hugh Jackman come back, Ryan Reynolds with a brighter, more accurate suit, Wolverine finally donning the mask, getting some cameos and a farewell to Fox characters. Oh my god, I can watch this movie over and over. Oh man, it was great. It was great. And I don't think anybody was expecting anything crazy for this movie like they did with Multiverse of Madness. So another breath of fresh air. Nobody was spoiling it. Great times, man. This movie was one of those movies where it's just a great time. You had to be there, living in the moment with it, man. What more can I say? Monkey Man. Talk about original films, and just to know the backstory that like nobody wanted this film, and Jordan Peele said, "Yo, give it a chance." And for it to get that chance, it did not disappoint. It was like John Wick. It was like John Wick. It was one of those movies just like John Wick, taken in a different country, in a different setting, different circumstances. Just a great film. Monkey Man was definitely probably most underrated film of this year. I didn't see a lot of people talk about it, make videos about it, nothing. Great movie. And there's nothing to come out of this, which is another great thing about it. They're not gonna milk it. So yeah. The Wild Robot. Wow. Like I'm telling you, talk about kids movie this year. They won this year. The Wild Robot. Taking in a robot that's supposed to come on Earth or another planet to assist human life, to better the environment, just to be that all-around helper bot. To get lost and then have to learn the way of wildlife and be a mother, a human aspect, to be a mother and raise a living being. It's a beautiful story on its own. And seeing the sacrifices that she did make for the wildlife, even when they came back to get her, and what she did, and the fact that there might be a sequel, it's just all around movie. The movie was beautiful. I don't believe there were songs in this film. Great film, man. Great film. Very beautiful. Great growth. Great emotions all around. I cannot say anything bad about this movie, honestly. And Inside Out 2. I've been talking about Inside Out 2 a lot. For me only watching it one time, I feel like Inside Out 2 is definitely one of those sequels that can persevere and be better than the original. I'm not gonna lie to you. The original was a strong movie, but the way they portrayed anxiety within this film, like that anxiety attack her just trying to take over and like really hone in and lock in on her craft, but it being too much, so she's trying to do all this and all that to get out of the situation, which is great all around. Like, the movie is just good and funny. I think I laughed a couple times within the film too. It's a good movie. Like, these are S tier for a reason. They're so good, I don't have much to say about it. I always like the aspect of seeing Riley grow up, like seeing the way her character went from this to this, and hopefully soon as an adult, it's like you're growing with the character. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that. But yeah, Inside Out 2 is one of those movies. All my beautiful souls, this has been the 2024 movie tier list. As you can see, if you want the full list, it is right here. Everything in its own bracket. If you want to change anything, if you like to discuss anything, all you gotta do is hit up them comments or text me. Cause I feel like we did good with this one. You can watch my last one, the 2023 tier list, also on my channel. Yeah, relatively shorter than last year, I think, even though we watched more. Not much to say. A really good year for movies. A lot of horror movies, if you do watch horror movies, which I don't watch. That's why it wasn't on my list. That's why my list wasn't bigger. I did not get to watch Sonic, Mufasa. There's more. I know those were like the two I couldn't watch. Killer's Game, that was another one I didn't get to see this year. And there's more. Not much, but definitely more that I didn't get to see. So, sorry about that. My reviews will be posted up on my Twitter for those movies. So definitely stick around. Remember, all these movies were rated on the salad scale on behalf of Fresh Lettuce. So, thank you. Can't wait to see you next year.